Hey, how you doing? Good afternoon. Welcome to another time out here. Welcome to another time here at the book club. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Thanks for making another time here with me. We got to do a book club every Sunday at 2 p.m. here, and I've just dedicated my Sunday to doing this. Uh, and someone asked me the other day, one of my mentees asked me the other day, how do I get to do this strange schedules, And I said, hey, the only other option I have is death, right? This is why I'm here. This is the reason why I'm here. At this moment in time, this is what God will have me do, so I have no other choice but to arrange my schedule around that, and we'll be doing this. This is a fifth book in the series, right? And it's Business is Personal by Bethenny Frankel, right? And there's a truth about what it takes to be successful without while staying true to yourself, right? Not losing yourself, right? In being successful, right? Living out of the core of your being. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about not living a superficial life, but living out of the core of your being, right? Living an authentic life and succeeding at doing that. That's all that we're doing, as we do study through this book. We finished chapter 5 last week, and that was taking 5 steps ahead, looking at the big picture, being strategic in your outlook. That's what we looked at in chapter 5. Here we'll go on to chapter 6, and chapter 6 is pretty much what you do with what you see when you're strategic. Right, it's not enough just to be strategic or look at the big picture, right? You need to take action based on what you see, and that's what we're focusing here on chapter 6, which is pivoting, right? Pivoting, right? And which is doing something about what you see. Pretty much, that's what we're going to focus on here. I think it's probably going to take us 3 weeks, because as I look at just preparing for just this week, I had more than I'm going to be able to do today. So wherever we stop, we'll take it on next week. So we'll do what we can, and we'll take it on next week. We're not going to do an overflow because I have to get to a function on the mainland, so I'm not going to reach the 1 hour mark. We're going to shoot for like 40 minutes, and we'll be done for today, and we'll take it from there next week. All right, let me bring up my slide here and we'll shoot. All right. All right, I believe you all can see my slide. Is Business is Personal, the truth about what it takes to be successful while staying true to yourself, living from your core, right? And pretty much that's what we have. That's the book again, the picture of the book. I've shown you my own copy, right? So let's go into the meat of it. Let's go into it, And what it pretty much the title of the chapter is pretty much know when to hold them and know when to fold them. It's pretty much know when to take action, know when to pivot, right? Know when to pivot, right? And what it means to pivot, is pretty much to adapt or to improve by adjusting something, can be adjusted on the product, service, or strategy, right? When you then look at the book of local book Good to Great, written by Jim C. Collins, and I believe that's Jim Porras, right? They both wrote the book Good to Great, and also the book Built to Last, and they talk about 2 types of changes, right? Which we might call 2 types of pivoting, right? One is when you do an evolutionary change, right? You're just making little seeming insignificant changes that gets you to get the big change. Suddenly you've changed a whole lot, but you did it by just doing little changes, right? Napoleon Hill will talk about what we call hypnotic reading, right? And that's probably the best way to make changes without it hurting, right? You can do anything if you do it in hypnotic reading, which is the same word for drifting, which is where the devil it does not change. They begin to do little indisciplines. Suddenly they find out that they're way off their target, right? But we want to use what is negative, and you can use it in a positive way also. And you make little disciplines, little disciplines, and before you know it, you work magic in your life. That's what you call an evolutionary change, right? There are also what is not an evolutionary change, right? Evolutionary change or hypnotic rhythm is what you might baby steps. There's also the place where you need to take big giant steps, right? And Jim Collins and Porras put that in their book. They call it the big hairy goals, right? Big hairy goals, right? And they pretty much differentiate both of them by comparing what we call two animals, right? They call the fox and the hedgehog, right? The fox and the hedgehog, right? I believe the fox is what they use as an example of an evolutionary change, and the hedgehog is what you use as an example of the big, hairy, audacious goals, right? So there is a place for taking baby steps and making change, and there is a big place for taking big giant steps for making change, right? It all depends on what you want to do. It depends also, like we say, when we talk about having a strategic look at your being strategic about your company, strategic focus on your company, or your life. We're saying that we're looking at it these what are our weaknesses and our strengths as against the opportunities and threats in the environment, right? The interplay of those two will determine what you need, right? Whether you're going to do the baby steps or you're going to do the giant steps. Obviously, in every one of our lives, there needs to always be the baby steps, right? There needs to always be the baby steps. We need to be improving every day of our life. We need to be getting better, at least in baby steps, small disciplines to get better, right? You don't have to do the big ones all the time, but when occasion demands it, all right, there is a place to take the big giant steps in life. If you do that all your life will be a crisis, and nobody wants to live a life of crisis, right? That time when crisis comes, yes, it takes more than the baby steps, right? You have to take some sudden change to adjust, to rise above the waves. You won't need baby steps, right? You're gonna need giant steps, right, to rise above the waves. We're in a day of crisis, but you don't want to live your life crisis, right? You're gonna get tired, right? You want to address the crisis when it comes and come to a place of rest where you're doing baby steps, right? If you're doing baby steps every day of your life, you will have less crisis. But if you go into indisciplines, right, when you don't watch your life on a continuous daily basis, then you're going to be living from one crisis to the other, right? We're not built to live from crisis to crisis, right? When we live from crisis to crisis, that's what leads to depression and anxiety issues, right? That's what leads to mental breakdown. That's what leads to mental disease when you are living on a continuous crisis level. We're not designed that way. We're not created that way. We're not created to have adrenaline in our bloodstream all the time. Yes, it comes into our bloodstream when there's danger. You address the danger. That adrenaline must flow out of your bloodstream when the danger is gone. If it stays there longer than it needs to, you're going to have mental breakdown. You're going to have mental disease. You're going to have depression issues. You're going to have anxiety issues, right? That is what leads to depression issues. That's what leads to anxiety issues. Normal anxiety is okay. Normal depression might be okay. But when it starts going longer than it needs to, that is bad. That is wrong. That is unhealthy, right? That won't work for you, right? You're going to lose control if you stay that way, right? So we need to watch out for that. And one of the ways to watch out for that is looking over your life on a constant, continuous basis. When you're watching over your life on a constant, continuous basis, your life will not be a life of crisis. There's nothing good about a life of crisis. Nothing. It just means that you are indisciplined, right? If you're continuously living in crisis, you are indisciplined. You're not doing the baby step evolutionary change in your life. You're not being strategic. You're not being big picture minded. You are not being taking 5 steps, being 5 steps ahead, right? If you're 5 steps ahead, you would not be living from crisis to crisis. Like we said, coming into 2023, we said there was a need to finish the year before you start. So as you come into this year, you should have already finished this year, decided how your year would be. So you are pretty much in the second creation right now, executing it, not doing it for the first time. Right, you're doing it for the first time, then you're probably going to be living from crisis to crisis, right? Tomorrow, for those that are connected with me on Facebook and probably WhatsApp group, I get to share one video every day from all my productions on YouTube. So I get to share them on my Facebook pages. I should get to share them on the WhatsApp groups that I'm on. So I'm going to run a series. I did a teaching for my fellowship in University of Benin Christian Union alumni. I did a teaching for them as part of a seminar we held on how plans fail and what to do about it. I did a teaching last year on that, and I broke that into 4 parts. So I'm going to run it starting from tomorrow. So I'm going to run first part Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I got to run that on my channels this week. I think it will bless you. So feel free to listen to it. Feel free to ask questions that you might have that I can possibly help you with, and we can all just grow together, right? And ensure that our plans do not fail this year. Ensure that we'll rise above the waves. We don't live from crisis to crisis, but we'll live as champions in this life, and we'll get the best and the most out of our 2023. That is my desire for you, right? And that's why I do all I do, right? All right. So let's go in and, into work. Well, let's continue what we have for today, right? We've said pivoting is pretty much to adapt, to improve, to adjust something, right? And we've talked about it could be in baby steps, it could be in giant steps, right? Depending on what the change requires, right? Depending on the interplay between our weaknesses, our strength, and the opportunities and threats around us, right? So Philip Brooks makes a statement. It says, set yourself earnestly to see what you are made to do, right? And then set yourself earnestly to do it. So you have to know what you're made to do. What you're made to do is the interplay between what do you have strengths for, right? And one of that is also put together by Jim Collins and Jim Porras, right? In their book, they talk about what we call the what's that word for it? But it's pretty much being knowing what you're made for, right? And they say it's an intercept between 3 circles, right? One circle is what you can do, what you're good at, right? Another circle is what you're passionate about. It's not everything that you're good at that you're passionate about. I've heard a lot of women talk about the fact that they're very good cooks, but they're not passionate about it. They're very good cooks, but they're not passionate about it. See, that's going to be a problem. That's probably not the place you're going to excel above all others, right? You're good, very good cook. If you're not passionate about it, don't make it a business. You're only going to be you're not going to be leading from your core. If you make it a business, you're going to lose yourself in doing it. It's not the place for you. It's neither the place of your calling. No, it's a place of a career, though it can be a place of a career temporarily, right? Because sometimes we need to do what we must do so that we can do what we want to do, right? Life is not necessarily a straitjacket, right? Sometimes we have to do what we must do before we can do what we want to do, right? The liberty is not given to us all the time to do what we want to do, right? So sometimes we have to pay the price of doing what we must do so that we can do what we want to do. So that can be what you do at that point in time. Just get yourself to the place where you do what you want to do. So it could be a career, right? But that career is not going to fulfill you in any way, right? If it's something you're good at, but you're not passionate about, right? You got to do it. You can make money from it, but it won't fulfill you. It won't fill you up. So you need something else by the side to fill you up, to feel that passion that's lacking in that thing that you're good at, right? That's a third circle, and that's a circle of, does it make money? Does it meet the bottom line, right? It's not, I do what I'm doing right now, not for money, even though I'm hoping one day maybe YouTube will pay me for it. But you see, I've done it. It will going to be 2 years here in the next 2 weeks or so. Will be 2 years doing this, right? I got to do it for free. It's not economic. I can do it. I'm passionate about it, but it doesn't make me money. See, I can do it. I'm passionate about it. That is a calling. I can do it. I'm passionate about it. That is a calling, right? It doesn't necessarily have to make me money. That's not a career also. It's a calling. I can do it. I'm passionate about it. That is a calling, right? I can do it. It makes me money. I can do it. It makes me money. That can be a career because I do career to make money. I don't necessarily have to be passionate about my career. It'd be nice if I'm passionate about it, but the bottom line is putting money, putting food on my table. So all I need to do is be good at it, and it's economic. That's all. It's a career. I can do it, and I'm passionate about it. That is a calling, right? Where all three meets, where I can do it, I'm passionate about it, and it makes me money. That's the best of all. That's the best. That's heaven. That's heaven. You're working for free. That is being on vacation all your life, right? So if this makes me money, I can do this forever, right? Because I'm good at it, I'm passionate about it, and if it makes me money, that's heaven, right? My job that I do, I'm a fully employed person. I enjoy my work, even though there are some people sometimes make it a drag. But take that away, I enjoy my work. Take the demons away, I enjoy my work. So it's heaven. I get to tell people I work for free because I can do it. I'm passionate about it, and I do make a good living from it, right? Just I have to deal with some demons, in that, So that's important. It's important that you know the difference in whatsoever. I know my dear sister Loretta one time was talking about, it's passionate, but it might not be your calling. But that's just the explanation, right? You could be passionate about it. You could know how to do it, but it might not make you money. If you do it, then it's just a calling. It's not a career. You need the money for it to be a career. You need the passion for it to be a calling, right? All right. So when we're talking about making changes, right, we need a whole lot of planning and a whole lot of, we need to plan it and we need to execute it, right? We spoke about that. It's not just, I believe that must have been chapter 4. We spoke about that, the importance of planning and executing, right? And I probably spoke about that also about school stuff, which I'm going to be running this week. All right, timing is everything when it comes to making changes, right? So when I observe a change, it's not just that I'm going to do it, it's that I do it at the right time. If I do it too early, that's a problem. If I do it too late, that's a problem. And like I gotta give you an example all the time, my fam, right? We're in the early stages, right? So we're learning a lot. This is our second full year of farming. So we're learning. We're implementing, right? We're waiting for our farm workers should come in this week, to get some things done. In the meantime, we're having to hire people to do different things. But with the rains coming, we've had 2-3 rains here in Lagos. We're yet to have the first rain at my farm. But when we get that rain, we have a lot of things we need to get doing as the rain comes, so that we can optimally nest the year, right? And get the reward for doing it, right? So you see, there's timing in that wise. Some we're already doing, not waiting for the rain. We just have to pay someone to do the watering to make that happen. All Other ones, because of limited hands, we're waiting, and also the volume we want to do, we're having to wait, for the rains to come, and we'll get to do that. Let's see who came in. So who do we? All right, Kelvin, how are you doing?
I'm fine, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. You're welcome.
Yes, sir.
All
We're
right.
having our first rain. Yes.
Yeah, what?
We're having our first rain. Yes.
Oh, we have a first rain already. Oh, I was just talking about it. Wow, awesome. Because in Lagos here, we've had 3 rains already. So we're having our first rain. Wow, that's good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so is it just in Ibadan or at our farm also?
Yes, sir.
So is it just in Ibadan or at our farm also? We have rain at the farm.
For now, it's in Ibadan, but I'm not. It might get to the farm. Definitely get to the farm.
All right. You've not checked yet. All right, great, great. We'll discuss more about that because we're waiting for the rain to get the plantain going. Because the lady we're buying the plantain suckers farm is going to come plant it. So we really don't need our own people. Or we might need our own people. We might need to do some clearing before she comes. But we'll talk more about that later. Yeah, we're just looking at, we're in chapter 6. So I'm just trying to do an introduction to chapter 6. We'll see how far we can go. I need to shut this down by 2:40 because I need to go for something on the mainland. But we'll see how far we can go up to 2:40 before I shut it down. So we have like 20 more minutes to go. So I was just talking about the fact that making changes. In chapter 5, we spoke about the need to be strategic, in what we do, being 5 steps ahead and not just being lost in what you're doing right now, but you're looking at the big picture, not just looking at the small picture, and I spoke a lot, you do the small picture, I do the big picture, because you are the one that takes care of what happens every day on the farm, right? I don't involve myself on that. I look at from a strategic place, I look at the big picture. I look at what is going to happen for the whole year, for the month, for the first half, for the first quarter. I'm looking at to find out how we're going to make sure we make money, and you don't have to bother about that. You just need to make sure that everything we need to do today gets done. Everything we need to do for this week gets done, for instance. So it's just a difference in the way we look at things. I don't want to get involved with what you're supposed to be doing, because if I stay with you with the same thing you're doing, I'm going to lose what I'm supposed to be doing. So be making decisions that are only short term, which might be a disaster in the long term, right? I stay looking at things in the long term. You're looking at the short term, and that helps us making sure that we have something going on today, right? That's your task. My task is to make sure we have something going on tomorrow, right? So you see different responsibilities, but all are important. None is less important than the other. Everything makes the whole of what we have. Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand.
Any question for me on that?
Yeah, not really a question, but just a comment. I
All
think
right, go ahead.
having the two in mind helps to create a sort of balance. For me, I think I need to work on seeing the bigger picture, like you said, seeing from your own point of view also. That will help me to understand better the decisions you make, or the direction you are pointing towards.
Yes. I mean, I'm responsible for that, but you need to understand it. You need to know how to do what you're doing. So that's my job. I also need to understand what you're doing in the short term, just to be sure that it's not against what we're doing in the long term. But you are responsible for the short term. You see, I don't argue with you much when it has to do with that. But I also tell you the way it affects it in the long term. That's where I come hard on you. You understand?
Yes, sir. I understand.
All right, great. Let's go into the next slide here. So some examples of making changes, right? And we'll talk about business here. Was also business is life. We look at it based on the business. We're also looking at it as it affects our individual lives. When we talk about making changes of a business, it could mean turning one part of the business into a product, a standalone product on its own, which we're trying to do with the Gary. We're trying to make the Gary stand on its own, to be a business on its own, to make money on its own. It's been a tough one as we go along trying to do that, because of the various challenges. We are new and we are in a place where it is a common commodity around us, and we're trying to see how we can make it economical, right? We know how to do it ourselves and through others. What we don't know how to do is to make money out of it so far. That is the challenge we have. We need to be able to make money out of it, right? It's something that we know how to do, or indirectly. It's something we know how to do either directly or indirectly. And it's all right, don't worry. My phone again, I can't take it. You get what I say?
Yes, sir. I get it.
All right, it's something we know how to do right now, but something we're passionate about. But the third part is we need to be able to make money out of it, so that's what we're struggling with at this point in time, and we will need to get over, and we'll get over it, so that's what we're working on at this point in time. And so we'll talk more about that. We'll talk offline. The things we're trying to do, trying to get the markets working. And I have some things going on, but we'll talk more offline about that. But just trying to give an example of sometimes where you need to make changes. We've made changes. We've started by producing through other people. We've gone to the place where we've built our own place to produce. We're also now trying some other ways of doing it, so that we have a bit of a hold on. We know how to do it. The other thing is how to make it economical, right? Easy place for us is to sell at the village market, but that is the lowest price we can get for it. We need more money, more higher margin to be able to make sense of it. So we're looking at different other things, right? And the other thing to add to that is when you're making changes, you have to be open to experiment, right? If you already know the answer, it's easy. You just do what you already know. But when you don't know, you have to try different things until you get the one that works, right? So you have to try different things, right? One option we have is always to go to the village market. It's not the best place for us, but rather than keeping that Gary sitting down there for a long time, where it's possible that it might begin to lose value, it's best to sell there. That is our bottom line. But as we do that, we're looking for being able to get better markets than the village market, and we're doing different things towards that. We have an opportunity here to send to whom I here. I have an opportunity in Port Harcourt. We have Abuja. We have somewhere here in Lagos. There's 2 places here in Lagos, but we'll try different things, till we get the answer. So once at the beginning, when you are not fully knocked into it, you have to be open to trying different things. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's why I say some strange things. I know it doesn't go well with you. You're a bit but that's the reason why. I know I say things that are strange to you, but it's called experimenting. See, if I know the answer, I would not try those different things. Right? At this stage, we cannot be fixated on one thing. Right? That's why the 2 acres we spoke about, I wanted to do those different things there, not just do one, right? Because we don't have the answer for the other ones yet. I mean, we have what we think it might be the answer, but we don't have a factual answer. Do you understand? We have an opinion about them, but we don't have data-driven facts. And we need that, right? Again, like I say, we're in this to make money. We're not in this for the sake of doing it, right? We're not in this for fashion, do what I like or what I don't like. You know, before you came, I spoke about 3 circles that you use in making decision as to what is best to be done, right? By a great company, right? The first circle is a circle of the things you can do. Do you get that?
Yes, sir. I get you, sir.
So there's a circle called this that contains all the things you can do. You have the ability to do them, right? A second circle is the things you are passionate about. You understand it's not all the things you can do that you're passionate about. Is that true?
Yes, sir. Very true.
It's not all the things that you can do that you're passionate about. Is that true?
It's very true. Very true.
Yeah. Women say they can cook. They're very good cooks, but they don't like cooking. Right? That means if you put a gun to their head, they will do a very good meal. But if you don't put a gun to their head and they had the choice, they would not cook.
Very true.
Right? But sometimes we have to do the things that we know how to do, but we're not passionate about, because for several constraints. It might be because you need to put food on the table. So you do things you're not necessarily passionate about, but you can do because you need to put food on the table, right? You know, so it can be a career that you're doing, but you must not do it long term. If you do anything that you're not passionate about long term, you'll be frustrated, you'll be depressed, you will not be fulfilled in life, because you need something to fill up your passion. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
All right. So there are things you can do. There are things you're passionate about. They're not necessarily the same. And there are things also that make money. I know how to do it does not mean that it makes money. I'm passionate about it does not mean that it makes money. There's a circle of things that make money, right? When you have these 3 together, you have the best. You are in heaven. If the things you're doing are the things that you know how to do, you're passionate about them, and they make money, you're in heaven. You will work for free, right? If you can get those 3 things together, right? And that's what we're shooting for, you know, in all that we're doing. We don't want to do anything that we don't know how to do. I mean, if we don't know how to do it, we can learn how to do it, right? That's something, or get someone that can do it. But we also want to be passionate about it. And we want to make money. Like you hear me say all the time, we're not in this for the fun of it. We're in this to make money. So this circle, third circle is important, because this is a business. We have to make money. That's the only way we're going to stay in business, stay in existence, if we to make money. I mean, these other 2 we can compromise and walk around. But this is the making money is important, right? Otherwise, unless we're not a charity, it's a business, we must make money, right? But we then need to choose the things that we're passionate about and the things we can do or we can learn to do, right? So those are 3 things that we'll look at, right? As we make decisions and go ahead. I said all of this just to try and emphasize again on what would the 2 acres, irrigated acres we're trying to put together, right? We're trying on the things that we can do and we're passionate about and makes money. So those are 3 circles that would help us make decision on those 2 irrigated acres we're trying to do, right? The 3rd and 4th one, we pretty much already made a decision on, because we're trying to model someone that has gone ahead of us. But the first 2 acres is what we're trying to make a decision on. So know those 3 circles as we close it out offline. Is that good enough?
Yes, sir. I'm ready to see them.
Oh, good. All right. So sometimes you can be making a feature, a product, like we said, we're trying to make the Gary stand alone. We're also trying to make the starch stand alone, right? like I told you, I already told someone to send me a proposal. We're going to try and put a starch plant in place, which is going to be for both local and export. Export really is what we're shooting for. But before we do export, we have to be sure of the quality of what we're producing. So we'll probably start with local to be sure of the quality before we start exporting it. But we're doing that also. It's going to be a standalone on its own. Also, changes could also be from making a product into a feature of a larger suit. You can make changes for different things. At the end of the day, all you're trying to do is try and do something that makes sense, something you're passionate about, something you can do, and something that makes money, right? So you could be changing your market segment, it could be changing technology, it could be changing location, but at the end of the day, you're trying to keep your business, to be one that is not just good, but it's a great one, something you're excited about, something that is sellable, something that is marketable, something that you're proud of, and it's also giving you good returns, So those are just different examples, of making changes, And probably we're going to end on this one. We're going to end on slide 6 here. We'll continue on slide 7 next week. So when you talk about all of this is only possible if you have the right people in your boat, right? If you don't have the right people working for you, you cannot talk about all of what we're talking about here. You're allowed to be, first of all, trying to get people off your boat and get the right people in, right? You want people that can buy into your culture, that can buy into your mindset, that can buy into your vision, that can buy into your mission, that have the culture, the value system, the belief system like you do, right? The company is an organism, right? Just like every individual is an organism. Our company is a living being. It's a legal entity. It has its own culture. It has its own values. It has its own vision. It has its own mission, right? It has its own goals, its own target. It has a spirit that is driving it, right? And that spirit is embodied by the people that are in it, right? So you don't want to bring on anybody that is not fit. It's not a fit into what you are determined to be the spirit, the belief, the value, the vision, the mission, the culture of that company. Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere. Because what runs a company are the people. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir. Very true.
Yeah. Yeah. You see, that's why we've determined what kind of people we want to bring in to run the poultry, right? Because we want people that can buy into our culture. When we have our 4 farm workers that are going to come this week, we're going to sell them into our culture. We don't care who they are. If they don't buy into that culture, we'll let them go and we'll get more other people. But they have to buy into the culture. We don't want people that will come and bring a strange spirit to us. They have to buy into our culture. They are actors, right? They have a role to play. They have a script to live by. We'll give them that script. We'll give them that role, and they will play that part. Otherwise, we'll get someone else to do it, right? If it's a charity, they could do anything they want, but it's not a charity. We're paying them to come be a part of our team, right? And we will determine how they play that part for as long as they are with us. Because that's the only way we're going to be able to succeed being who we are. Because we're not like any other person, right? We're not like any other farm, right? Any other farm can do whatever they want to do. We type people who exist for a specific reason, purpose, and everyone that comes along with us must buy into that. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir. I understand this, sir.
Okay. Do you agree?
Yes, sir. Yes, I very much
You
agree.
agree
I
with-
think the network.
Oh, all
was
right.
great.
So you agree with everything I've said. Any question for me? This slide we're going to shut on down.
I totally agree with you, sir. I agree that
Awesome.
the business is an entity on its an organism, and people in it is what characterize the company, what make up the behavior of the company, and being careful of who we allow in. Of course, it's very, very critical. I understand that.
Great. I'm happy to hear that. All right, I'm going to shut it down here. I need to run down to the mainland. So I can't do a free flow today. Could have run it to 3 but I need to run down for an occasion on the mainland. So you are you okay with me stopping here?
Yes, that's fine, sir.
All right, we'll continue next week. Have a good one. I'll talk to you later.
All right, sir. Take care, sir.
All right, will do. Bye-bye. God bless.